If you have been researching credit repair online, you have probably heard about the 609 dispute letter. It is one of the most talked about and most misunderstood tools in credit repair. Some people call it a loophole. Some people say it forces bureaus to delete anything they cannot verify. And some people say it is a complete myth. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And today I am going to break down exactly what Section 609 actually says, what it can and cannot do, and the specific situations where a 609 letter is your strongest move. Let us start with what Section 609 actually is. Section 609 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act is found in 15 U.S. Code 1681G. It is your legal right to request a copy of all information in your credit file. That includes every account, every inquiry, every public record, and the sources that provided that information. Here's the key part that most people get wrong. Section 609 is a disclosure right. It gives you the right to see what is in your file. It does not, by itself, require the Bureau to delete anything. It does not say, if the Bureau cannot produce the original signed contract, they must remove the account. That is the myth. So why do people keep talking about it? Because Section 609 is powerful when you use it correctly as part of a larger strategy. Here is how. The real power of a 609 letter is that it forces the Bureau to show you exactly what they have. When you request full disclosure of your file, you often discover discrepancies. Account numbers that do not match, balances that are wrong, accounts reported by furnishers that cannot produce documentation, dates that conflict, personal information that belongs to someone else. Each of those discrepancies becomes the basis for a dispute under Section 611, which is your right to have inaccurate information investigated and corrected. That is where the deletions happen. Think of it this way: Section 609 is your flashlight. Section 611 is your weapon. You use 609 to find the problems, then 611 to force corrections. Now let me walk you through the exact process of using a 609 letter effectively. Step 1. Send a Section 609 disclosure request to each bureau reporting the information you want to challenge. In your letter, you cite 15 U.S. Code 1681G and request complete disclosure of your file, including the name, address, and phone number of each source that furnished information. Step 2. When you receive the response, compare every detail against your own records. Look for accounts you do not recognize, balances that do not match your statements, dates that are incorrect, and any information attributed to a source you have never done business with. Step 3. For every discrepancy you find, send a follow-up dispute letter under Section 611. This letter is different from the 609 request. In the 611 letter, you identify the specific inaccuracy, explain why it is wrong, provide your evidence, and demand investigation and correction within 30 days. Step 4. If the Bureau responds with verified without conducting a real investigation, you have two escalation paths. File a CFPB complaint at consumerfinance.gov, which goes directly to the Bureau's compliance team, or request the method of verification under Section 611, which forces the Bureau to tell you exactly how they investigated and who they contacted. Step 5. If the furnisher cannot verify the information, the Bureau must remove it. That is not a loophole. That is federal law under FCRA Section 611 subsection A. Now let me tell you the 3 situations where a 609 letter is most effective. Situation 1, you see accounts on your report that you do not recognize. Before disputing blindly, request full disclosure first. The response will show you who reported the account and what information they provided. This gives you specific ammunition for your 611 dispute. Situation 2, you suspect mixed files. This is when someone else's information appears on your report because of a similar name, address, or social security number. A 609 disclosure request reveals every source reporting to your file, making it easy to identify accounts that belong to someone else. Situation 3. You are dealing with a debt collector who may not have proper documentation. Collectors buy debt in bulk and often lack original account records. When you request full file disclosure and then challenge the collector's ability to verify the account under Section 611, They frequently cannot produce documentation. That leads to removal. Now, let me be direct about when a 609 letter will not work. It will not work as a magic deletion tool. Simply sending a letter that says, "Show me the original contract," is not enough. The Bureau does not need an original signed contract to report information. They need a reasonable procedure to ensure accuracy. Those are different standards. It will not work if you use a generic template that every bureau has already seen 10,000 times. Your letter needs to be specific to your situation, citing the correct subsection and requesting specific information about specific accounts. And it will not work as a standalone tactic. A 609 letter is step one of a multi-step process. It gathers intelligence. The dispute letters that follow are what create changes on your report. The biggest mistake people make is sending a 609 letter, getting back a copy of their credit report, and thinking it didn't work. It worked perfectly. It gave you intelligence. It gave you the information you need for the next step. The problem is they stopped too early. Let me also address the so-called 609 loophole letter templates. Most of them contain language the bureaus have flagged as boilerplate. When a bureau receives a letter that looks identical to thousands of others, they process it through an automated system. That almost always results in a verified response. Your letter needs to look like it came from a specific consumer with a specific problem, not from a template factory. Here's the bottom line. Section 609 is a real law that gives you a real right. But it is a disclosure right, not a deletion right. Its power comes from what it reveals. When you combine 609 disclosure requests with 611 dispute letters and proper documentation, you have a process that forces bureaus to investigate and correct. That is exactly how the Credit Dispute Kit is structured. It includes 609 disclosure request templates, 611 dispute letters for every situation, and follow-up letters. 90 templates total, each one with the correct legal citations already built in. The link is in the description below this video. You can also find it on our Etsy shop. If this cleared up the confusion around 609 letters, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want more videos on how to protect your credit rights. I will see you in the next one.